Ever since I got back from Disneyland Paris, which was an amazing trip, you all have asked me tons and tons of questions, from food to best rides, places to stay, etc. And I thought it would be a great video to answer all of your questions about Disneyland Paris and tell you things that I wish we did, things that we did, things that I wish we didn't do, and give you guys all those tips and tricks, because I assume if you clicked on today's video, you were either going to Disneyland Paris very, very soon and you want to know those things, or maybe you are planning a Disneyland Paris trip in the future. But enough said, let's get into today's video. What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, before I get into today's video, I just want to say if you are new to the channel, welcome, and make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as ring the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video on the channel. And if you all do enjoy today's video of the tips and tricks and must-dos and mistakes that we made of Disneyland Paris, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, as it really does help out the channel a lot and allows me to create more fun videos just like the one you are watching today. But enough of that, let's get into the video. So like I was saying earlier, we spent 2 days at Disneyland Paris. Our first day was at Walt Disney Studios Park, and our second day was at Disneyland Park. And while we were there, they were celebrating, or they just started celebrating, the 30th anniversary of Disneyland Paris, and they did an amazing job. And literally, it was one of the best celebrations I have ever seen. They did some stuff better there for the 30th anniversary than I think Walt Disney World did here for the 50th anniversary. If you all have not checked out those amazing videos, they're going to be linked down below in the description. Literally, you can see all the cool things they did, from shows to fireworks and all the fun rides that they have over there in Disneyland Paris. But enough of that, make sure you guys check out those videos after watching this one. Let's get into it and let's answer those Instagram questions, because you all asked a ton of questions about Disneyland Paris. Now, if you all did not get a chance to ask me a question on my Instagram, feel free to leave your question down below in the comments, and I will answer them as soon as possible, especially if you are going to Disneyland Paris on a trip in the near future and need those questions answered. Feel free to leave them down below in the comments and I'll answer them. Like I was saying, you all asked a ton of questions, so I'll start with the questions that kind of deal with outside the park, and then I will go into the ones that deal with actual Disneyland Paris or Walt Disney Studios. First question I'm going to answer is, what is the best way to get there? I'm going to suggest going on a train. We went on a train. We went on an overnight train from Munich, Germany to Disneyland Paris. And the reason I suggest a train is because the train pulls up right to Disney Village. There's literally a train station right at Disney Village. So convenient. You can access both parks, all the resorts from there. Highly suggest getting there by a train. Next question I'm going to answer is, talk about the different resorts around property. Now, Disneyland Paris has about 5 or 6 different resorts. They have the Disneyland Hotel, which literally you walk underneath the Disneyland Hotel to get to Disneyland Paris. Now, that is currently under refurbishment with no opening date at the moment as I am filming this video. Next is the Marvel Hotel, and if you're a huge Marvel fan, you need to check that video out. It's gonna be linked down below, but also if you go there, you need to check that hotel out as well. It is so cool. We stayed at the Newport Bay Club, so there you go, Max. There's your question. Where did we stay? We stayed at Newport Bay Club. If you guys are interested in checking that video out as well, it's gonna be linked down below. There is also Hotel Cheyenne, Hotel Santa Fe, Sequoia Lodge, and the Davy Crockett Ranch. Davy Crockett Ranch, I've never stayed there before, never been there before, but I've looked at pictures and it is very similar to Fort Wilderness here at Walt Disney World. So there is the lay of the land of the resorts. They're all very, very close in proximity to Disneyland Paris and very easy to get to and from the parks. Before I get back into those questions, I do want to say a little bit of a kind of a tip. If you guys are wondering, like I've been saying, we went for 2 days, and I feel like we were very, very rushed in those 2 days. Now, Walt Disney Studios Park, the first day, we didn't get there till about noon, and the park closed at 6 p.m. So we only had 6 hours to do the park, which we did everything we wanted to do, so not really complaining about that, because it's great that it was so tiny that we were able to do everything in 6 hours. But I wish we had a third day added to our trip for Disneyland Paris, because I would have loved to do 1 day at Walt Disney Studios Park, 1 full day at Disneyland Paris, and then the next day do park hopping, maybe morning in Walt Disney Studios Park, and then the afternoon / evening in Disneyland Paris. I definitely suggest you need 3 days to do Disneyland Paris as a whole. Like I said, I think the best way to do it is 1 day at Disneyland Paris, 1 day at Walt Disney Studios Park, and then your third day is a park hopping, as well as maybe enjoying your resort, because there's so much to offer at those resorts, from pools, different amenities, and it just felt very rushed, and we were very quick going through rides, and not really, we enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, we enjoyed the trip, but at the same time, it just felt very rushed. And then by the time we were leaving Disneyland Paris, we were like, oh my God, like it's over, like we're leaving Disneyland Paris. So if you were going, definitely suggest 2 to 3 days. Doing it in one day, especially with everything that's going on for the 30th anniversary, with all the shows and the fireworks, you're gonna wanna see it all because they do an amazing job. They seriously do an amazing job. So you guys are gonna take your time out of your day to check out those stage shows, check out the parade, check out the fireworks at the end of the night. Highly suggest going to 2 or 3 days, because the reason I'm saying that is because someone asked a question, what do/don't you recommend doing for someone only going for 1 day? If you're going for 1 day, and I don't know if you're doing a park hopper or you're doing just Disneyland Paris, I would just hit every major big attraction. And if you're staying for the nighttime, watch the fireworks. Plan your day accordingly. Know what you want to do ahead of time, and if you're staying on property, use those early morning magic hours, to get those top tier rides done in the morning. That way you can save time and then do everything else you want to do during the day. Doing it in 1 day, it's definitely possible. You can easily do it, especially if the crowds are low. But just hit those top tier attractions, or make a list of everything you want to hit before you go. That way you're not really wasting time and trying to choose what you want to do when you're there. So plan accordingly, plan ahead. That's my best advice if you're going for 1 day, because there's so much to do, especially with the 30th anniversary. Okay, another person only has 1 day in the park. What are the must-dos? So if you only have 1 day in the parks, let's just say you're going to Disneyland Paris, must-dos: Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Fantasyland, do a bunch of rides in Fantasyland, catch the stage show, catch the fireworks, obviously go shopping, check out the merchandise. Those are all must-dos in Disneyland Paris. Now for Walt Disney Studios, in case you were just doing Walt Disney Studios, or you have a park hopper, Tower of Terror, Crush's Coaster, RC Coaster, which is in Toy Story Land, which blew our minds. We didn't think we were gonna have that much fun on it. But those are some of the must-do attractions and things to do in Disneyland Paris as a whole if you are going for 1 day. Hopefully that helped you out, because those are some top-tier attractions and you will have a lot of fun. Walker asks, should you do Walt Disney Studios first or Disneyland Paris? Now that all depends on how long you're staying, what you want to prioritize first. Now for us, we knew we weren't getting there until about noonish on the first day, or we wouldn't be able to get into the park until about noonish on the first day. After traveling, checking into our hotel, having to get the health pass. Now you no longer need the health pass, but with all that, we arrived at like 9:30, doing check-in, changing, doing all that sort of stuff. We didn't get into the park until 12, so we knew our first day had to be Walt Disney Studios Park because it was the smaller park, and we could easily get all of that done in about 6 hours. So it depends all on that. For us, we had to do Walt Disney Studios Park first, or else we would have completely missed out on everything at Disneyland Paris. But that is mainly up to your schedule, how many days you're there, what time are you getting there on the first day. It's hard to suggest. I definitely just plan accordingly, know when you're arriving, know how much time you have at each park, because we ultimately had to do Walt Disney Studios Park first because it was the smallest and we were kind of cut short on time on the first day. With that being said, and being short on time, make sure you download the Disneyland Paris app, as it really does help you cut time and know what the right wait times are, places to eat, booking dining reservations, as well as knowing park hours. When we were there, the parks closed very, very early. I think the latest the park was open, Disneyland Paris, I think it was 7 o'clock when we were there. So the parks closed very early, so know your park hours before you get there. That way you aren't really shocked when you're like, oh my God, it's so early and they're closing. That way you know this is how much time we have to get all this stuff done. So download the Disneyland Paris app. It really does help out a lot. Some of you all do know, but I have been to Disneyland Paris before my most recent trip. So they said, did it feel like you were visiting an old friend since you had been there as a child? Yes, it felt like a vague memory when I was there. Like I knew some things, but some other things I was like, oh, I completely forgot about that. And it was cool because I remember growing up and going to Disneyland Paris and remembering things such as the backside of Main Street, which is called the Arcade, which is kind of a tunnel. I remember that, and thinking it was in Walt Disney World when I went to Walt Disney World once I moved back to the States, and it wasn't. So it was cool seeing that again. It was cool remembering the Dungeon Dragon or Maleficent down below, but unfortunately, Amelia says right here, was it easy to find the Dungeon Dragon? It's very easy to find, but unfortunately, especially if you all saw the video, it was closed off for refurbishment. So unfortunately, we could not go down and visit the Dungeon Dragon. We were really looking forward to that. We were really looking forward to a lot of things. I'll go over that kind of right now. Things we were looking forward to that we weren't able to do. Dungeon Dragon, because it was under refurbishment. We were looking forward to staying at the Disneyland Paris hotel. Unfortunately, under refurbishment. And obviously they were getting all that refurbishment done because it is the 30th anniversary and they want everything to be top tier shape. They were not serving champagne on Main Street during the fireworks, which we really were looking forward to because we thought how cool it would be, sit on Main Street, drink some champagne, watch the fireworks, but unfortunately they weren't doing it at the time. Small World was under renovations. I will say again, check the Disneyland Paris app, as a bunch of things on there will tell you if they're under refurb. During your vacation, if you're planning, you can look in the future and sometimes it tells you, hey, a ride's gonna be down during your time of stay, or during your visits, I should say. So make sure, once again, download the Disneyland Paris app. We knew all of that going into, besides the champagne, we knew all of the things that were gonna be under refurb when we were there, so we weren't disappointed. It was one of those things like, dang, we really wish that was open, such as the Dragon or Disneyland Paris Hotel. Even Small World was closed at the time. So once again, make sure you check those refurbishments because some things may or may not be closed when you go to the parks. Speaking of things, you know, being down for refurb or things that we want to see, and now that we know we have to come back to Disneyland Paris to see them, Avengers Campus. Avengers Campus is opening in Disneyland Paris, in Walt Disney Studios Park, I should say, to be more specific, later this summer. It'll be opening, and this person said, will you come back for Avengers Campus? 100%. Obviously, I gotta see my boy Spider-Man. We will 100% be back for Avengers Campus, but we will probably wait until everything is open in Walt Disney Studios Park. So Avengers Campus, the tiny little Galaxy's Edge that they're building, as well as Arendelle. Someone said, going in 2 weeks for the first time, I'm doing 2 days, give me tips. Okay, 2 days, perfect. That's exactly what we did, like I said before. You can do a bunch, and don't get me wrong by saying, oh, we should have done 3 days. You'll be able to get everything done in 2 days. It's amazing. You'll have a great time. Obviously, keep watching this video because as I answer questions, I'll give more and more tips about our trip. But you'll have an amazing time. And Walt Disney Studios Park, once again, it's your first time. It is a very small park. You'll be able to do it very, very fast. So don't stress about that park that much. The park that's going to take the whole day to do is Disneyland Park because you have all of those amazing rides such as the best Space Mountain, the best Thunder Mountain, the best Haunted Mansion. You have all of those as well as the amazing 30th anniversary celebration. So you're gonna wanna go check out the merchandise. You're gonna wanna drink champagne on Main Street because they are doing that again. Now they are. You're gonna wanna watch the shows. You're gonna watch the fireworks. You're gonna do it all in Disneyland Paris. The shows, the entertainment shows in Disneyland Paris are amazing. The stage show and the quote unquote, it's not called Festival of the Lion King, it's called Rhythms of the Pride Land. It's a Lion King show in Frontierland. Both of those shows were amazing and highly recommend that you go and check those shows out. Speaking of entertainment, get to the shows early as they do tend to get packed very, very fast. The hub, the central area right in front of the castle does tend to get packed really quick before the Dream and Shine Brighter show, which is the 30th anniversary stage show. Make sure you get there early, maybe get a middle spot so you can be in a great location so you can turn and look at all the stages while the characters are performing, as well as get there early to the Rhythm of the Pride Lands because that show does fill up very, very fast. We were fortunate enough to be one of the very last few people to be in during the show time that we picked to go to. So make sure to get to entertainment early as they do get packed. Obviously with being in Europe, there's a different currency over there and I got a ton of questions on how we kind of adapted or got used to the different currency over in Europe. How did you deal with currency conversion or did you use credit? We pulled some cash out of the ATMs when we were in Germany and we also used credit. I would recommend getting cash because some cards do have an international fee that if you do pay with it in international countries, there is a fee that is applied to it. So make sure you check with your bank on that before traveling over or just pull out a bunch of cash. That's probably my biggest recommendation of this is make sure to check with your bank because if you don't know when you start swiping your card, you could be getting charged an extra fee and you have no idea and you check your bank account and you're like, oh my God, I spent way more money than I thought I was because of that fee. So highly recommend if you're traveling over there from the United States, check your bank and see if your card has no international fees. A bunch of questions as well on the language barrier as well as the attraction narrations in the different languages. Did we face any language barriers? Not really. Every cast member, I'm not sure if they're required to speak English while they're over there, but every cast member we talked to was very, very fluent in English. So it was very easy to talk to them and navigate around and ask them questions. We had no language barrier problems in Disneyland Paris. Now as for the attraction narrations, Most of the attractions were half English and half French, so it was weird. You would have characters talking in French, and the other character was talking to would be talking in English. But majority of them, I remember Haunted Mansion, I believe it was all English. Majority of them are English, some of them have half French, half English. Remy's ride was how it is here in Epcot at Walt Disney World. It's half French and half English. So it's pretty cool that you can still understand the rides while being in another country. I thought it was fascinating. I 100% thought we were going to be in there and everything was going to be French. Now there are some rides that are completely French. Tower of Terror. So the Tower of Terror pre-show was completely French, which is pretty funny to hear. So you know the spiel, you know how everything's going, but to hear it in a different language, it's always funny. So some rides had French, some rides didn't have French, and some rides had a mix of French and English. What is the main difference from the US parks? I would say the main difference is when you go into Disneyland Paris, everything is much brighter. The buildings are brighter, the castle is brighter as in color. Because it has to deal with like the dull sky of Europe and you know how overcast it can be on days. So they paint everything much brighter. So when you walk in, you're kind of like, wow, everything's so bright. That is a huge difference. Another difference is Discoveryland is actually Tomorrowland, or Tomorrowland is called Discoveryland over there. So as we have Tomorrowland here in Walt Disney World and Disneyland, over there it's called Discoveryland, and it's a really cool theme over there. I love how they do that in Space Mountain. Their rides over there, I can't talk about them enough. Space Mountain is completely different than any other Space Mountain you've been on. It goes upside down, there's inversions, there's a launch. It's insane. I literally love it. It's my all-time favorite Disney ride, as well as Thunder Mountain. Thunder Mountain is on an island, so you have to go underneath the water in order to get to the island. And it's so much fun. The best Thunder Mountain. But yeah, the main difference from the US parks is obviously you can drink in Disneyland Paris inside of, you know, quote unquote the Magic Kingdom, where in the United States you cannot unless you're at a sit-down restaurant. You can open and willingly walk around with alcohol. Obviously some of the land names are different, so instead of Tomorrowland, Discoveryland, the park is much brighter colors. Those are some of the main differences, obviously, and then just the language barrier for some of the ride attractions, or the language barrier for some of the pre-shows, as you will see for some are in French and some are in English. Two different questions I'm going to answer right here. How did you know what you wanted to do, and how did you research where to stay at Disney and Europe? So like I said earlier, I had been to Disneyland Paris before my most recent trip, so I knew I wanted to go on the big attractions: Tower of Terror, Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Crush's Coaster. I also watched a ton of YouTube videos, kind of like the video you guys are watching today, about tips and tricks on how to do Disneyland Paris. That was kind of how I knew what I wanted to do before heading into the park. Once again, plan ahead, because you will be so overwhelmed when you're there. It will be tough to do. So make sure you plan ahead and know what you want to do each day when you're visiting Disneyland Paris. And how did you research the hotel to stay at? So once again, stayed there before. I had been to Newport Bay Club. We really wanted to stay at the Marvel Hotel. That was our number one. Let's stay there. Well, I should say our number one was Disneyland Paris Hotel, the Disneyland Hotel. That was under refurbishment. Marvel was a little bit out of our budget, and I had stayed at Newport Bay Club before, so I was like, you know what? I'm very familiar with it. Why don't we just stay there? It was a great hotel, very similar to Yacht and Beach Club here at Walt Disney World. So that helped out a lot, as well as watching some videos on the best places to stay in Disneyland Paris. That helps out a lot. If you guys do want to check out that video of Newport Bay Club and the Marvel Hotel, down below in the description. Hopefully that will help you out in picking a hotel where to stay in Disney. Also got a ton of questions on the cost of our trip, minus discounts, because Emily and Pedro are cast members. So they helped out a lot with getting into the park for free, as well as getting a discount on the hotel. Newport Bay Club Hotel, I believe, ran us $200, $300, anywhere from, I can't remember exactly, $200 to $300 a night total. So it came out to be like $600, so we split it between the four of us. So it wasn't that expensive at all, and it helps going with people so you can split those costs. Getting to Europe, our flight was only $400. We found a crazy deal. We booked our flight maybe 6 months early. We found a $400 flight. We knew we had to book it. So definitely check flights really early before you're planning, or while you're planning. Check early, check months in advance, because you could find a crazy deal. Other than that, we just found really cheap hotels to stay in Germany, which split between the four of us, didn't cost that much. So ballpark, I would say, without spending money actually in Paris, like buying food and buying merchandise, or buying merchandise in Germany, I would say before leaving the United States, the trip cost us, I'd say, probably about maybe 1,000 each. Maybe, I'm like rough estimate, I don't even think we hit 1,000 each. From hotels everywhere to plane tickets to train tickets and all that sorts of stuff. I don't think we even spent $1,000, which is crazy to think we got all of that and we were going to Europe. So definitely look into it, get deals, go with a bunch of people, go with friends, go with family, that way you can split the costs. But yeah, roughly I think before we took off, I think we had already spent $1,000 on the trip. So kind of going off of the I wish we did 3 days at Disneyland Paris, what are some things you would do differently if given the chance? Obviously, number one, I wish we were there for 3 days. I wish we actually arrived earlier on the first day. Obviously, unfortunate, the train ride was just so long. We really couldn't do anything about that. But if I had any wish, I wish we could have gotten there the first day. That way we could have, done Walt Disney Studios Park morning, mid-afternoon, and in the evening maybe hopped over to Disneyland Paris and enjoyed the nighttime over there. Watch the fireworks, watch some of the shows again. That was what I would do differently. Other than that, I think we did everything amazing. It was just the feeling of being rushed the whole time, having to run from one ride to another. Oh my god, the parade's starting. Now we gotta go sit down. Okay, parade's over. Run to the next ride because it's a short wait. It was fun. We enjoyed it. We had an amazing time. But if we could do it differently, I just don't want to be rushed. I just want to enjoy and relax and have fun. Not that we didn't have fun, as you all have seen from the videos. We had an amazing time. But it was just being rushed. I think if I would do it differently, definitely slow down the pace and be there for 3 days. Okay, a couple questions from Walker. Better nighttime show. So there is only technically, there's 3 nighttime shows. It's like 3 nighttime shows into one. So they have the pre-show, which is the 30th anniversary drone that comes out. That's about a 3-4 minute show. Then they have Illuminations, which is their main fireworks show, which is amazing with the water features and the fireworks and the projections on the castle. And then after, they have something called Afterglow, which again is another 3-4 minute show that does stuff with the 30th anniversary drones that they brought into, which I think are simply amazing and so cool that they did that for the 30th anniversary. So there's technically 3 shows, but they're all kind of combined into one with kind of like a little 3-4 minute intermission in between. But obviously Illuminations was the best because it was a full fireworks show. But I really did love the drone show, and they did a fantastic job with it. And then again from him, best and worst ride. The best ride for me is between Space Mountain and Crush's Coaster. Both amazing and both very, very unique. The worst ride was Indiana Jones, the roller coaster. Literally, your head was banging. It goes upside down. It's really, really old. If you get sick easy on rides or don't like banging your head, I would not suggest going on Indiana Jones. For me, that was definitely the worst ride. As well as the Cars ride that took over the backlot tour in Walt Disney Studios Park. That was probably another one on there I would chalk up as one of the worst rides. So between Indiana Jones roller coaster and the Cars Road Trip, I think that's what it's called, Cars Road Trip, those were the 2 worst rides. We loved Disneyland Paris so much, and we really, really do miss it and hope to get back there one day. And if you all do get the chance to go over to Disneyland Paris, I highly, highly, highly recommend taking that chance. It is a beautiful park, one of the most beautiful parks I think that Disney has ever built. That castle is magnificent, and you all will love every second of being over there. And it is so cool to go to an international Disney park and feel so familiar with an area, but not so familiar at the same time. Like, you know where you are, you're like, I'm in a Disney park. You kind of know where you're heading, but at the same time, it is so different, and there's literally nothing like it. So once again, highly recommend you head over to Disneyland Paris or another international park. I know next on our list, we do want to hit Tokyo and Tokyo Disney Sea. Those are next on our bucket list for international parks. But seriously guys, there's nothing better than international Disney parks. They're so cool and so unique. To wrap up today's video on tips, tricks, and all of that sorts of stuff on Disneyland Paris, I'm gonna leave you guys with just a few notes and things to remember while you are traveling to Disneyland Paris or another international park. Obviously, download the app and plan ahead. That way you know what you're doing before you get there, so you don't feel extremely overwhelmed, because there is so much going on. You can easily get overwhelmed in an international park, especially Disneyland Paris. Second, remember, you are in an international Disney park. Some people only get to experience this once in a lifetime, and some people never get to experience. So remember that you are there. Take it all in. Have fun with your friends and family, and enjoy the moment, because they have so much to offer, and it's so unique, the international parks that Disney makes. And it's so unique and so much fun, and you will love every second. take a bunch of funny videos, take a bunch of pictures for memories, and have the time of a lifetime. Once again, if you all have any questions about Disneyland Paris because you are going on a trip in the near future, make sure to leave them down below in the comments, as well as give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and make sure to ring that bell to get notified whenever I post a new video here on the channel. Once again, that's going to be it for today's video on tips and tricks and all of that on Disneyland Paris, and I will see you all in the next video. We'll be going to Universal's Islands of Adventure to test early park admission, and I will see you there. Peace out.